Podcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Catherine. I'll be your webinar facilitator today. Welcome and thank you for joining us for the new SkyAir Single Zone Systems webinar. As a brief reminder, all lines are currently on mute to prevent background noise. If you have questions during the presentation, please type them into your chat box. We'll be happy to answer at the end of the webinar. This afternoon, it's my pleasure to welcome Connie Schroeder, Product Manager, Single and Multi-Zone Systems. Connie, you may now begin the webinar.
Great. Thank you so much, Catherine. And hello, everyone who's joined us. We really do appreciate you taking the time to learn a little bit more about these new SkyAir systems. We're very excited about all of the updates that we've made to this platform and some new stuff that we're bringing along with it. So we'll go ahead and dive right in. I wanted to start by first off going through what is SkyAir. SkyAir is a larger capacity single zone system with multiple indoor units to choose from. One of the big advantages to SkyAir is that in addition to being larger capacity, it also has longer line set length capabilities. So you can get links up to 164 feet for 1.5 and 2 ton systems, or up to 230 feet for 2.5 to 4 ton systems. And there's a height of 98 feet available for all systems. So there might be situations residentially or in some of those light commercial applications where you're starting to notice that you're running out of room between the indoor and outdoor unit. And so SkyAir might be a nice solution compared to our other single zone systems to get you a little bit longer line set lengths. SkyAir is available with heat pump or cooling only outdoor units. I will mention here that the cooling only systems with this new launch and these new models, they do not meet, do not meet DOE requirements for sales in the Southwest. So for those of you joining us down there in the Southwest, only the heat pump meets the requirements for sales in that area. SkyAir is also a 2-wire system, so the indoor unit and the outdoor unit are powered independently. So you've got 2 different breaker positions for those units. Our other single zone systems, the outdoor unit powers the indoor unit. So if you are kind of juggling between the two, maybe switching from our typical 4-wire system to the SkyAir 2-wire system to get those longer line set lengths, do remember that they are powered differently. And so that's another difference between the two. So what's new with this new SkyAir single zone launch? Well, there's a lot of new stuff coming in. We're going to go through them in detail, but very high level, here's what's changing. We're bringing on new indoor units to replace some currently offered models. We've got a new FAQ wall mount, a new FCQ ceiling cassette, and a new FTQ multi-positional air handler. We're also adding on capabilities up to 4 tons. So before on all of our systems, except for the wall mount, we stopped at 3.5 tons, and we're now adding on 4-ton capabilities to an FCQ ducted concealed, the FCQ ceiling cassette, and the FTQ air handler. So that's nice to add on a little bit more capacity to the SkyAir family as well. We also have new outdoor units for both the heat pump and cooling only. They're completely new, replacing the existing ones. They've got some great new features that can deliver some awesome performance capabilities. To put this all into a nice visual form, I've got a good little table here. So what we're introducing are those new outdoor units, 18 to 48, heat pump and cooling only. We're bringing on the new wall mount. It's still only going to be offered in 1.5 and 2 tons. We're bringing on the 4-ton FBQ ducted concealed unit. We've got new round flow sensing cassettes from 1.5 to 4 tons, and then a new multi-positional air handler unit, also from 1.5 to 4 tons. Now I do have some blanks right there in the middle of the table. Those haven't disappeared. We are still offering FBQ ducted concealed in the smaller sizes below 4 tons, and then also that ceiling suspended unit. Those indoor units haven't gotten any new updates or changes, so they're staying the same as they are now, no new features, looks, anything like that. So those are still out there in the offering and are compatible with the new outdoor units. So we still have a nice, well-rounded family for SkyAir. So now we're going to get into more of the specifications, features, accessories, some more of the finer details about all of these new units. We'll talk a little bit about the control capabilities, warranty, and then take a look at key dates surrounding this launch. I always like to remind everyone that this webinar and this slide deck is an informational document. Always refer to the installation, operation, and engineering manuals for full product details. So here we go. We'll dive right in, starting off with the FAQ wall mount. Ultimately, what we've done here is we've updated that front panel design for an updated look. So it just kind of looks a little bit more with the times. All of its functionality, features, those are all the same as the previous model. And then paired with that new outdoor unit, either heat pump or cooling only. We've got performance here on the screen, SEER ratings from 17 to 17.6, HSPF 8.2 to 8.4. You'll notice when it comes to the line set connections and max links, that's all pretty standard throughout all of the indoor units. It's more just based on your outdoor unit. So you'll see here we've got 3/8" liquid line sets, 5/8 gas. There's our piping lengths, which I mentioned, nice long line set lengths, 164 feet. And then our operating range in cooling is 23 to 122 degrees Fahrenheit. And in heating, we go down to -4 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit. And the FAQ model, since they're only offered in 1.5 and 2 tons, it is a single fan outdoor unit. Above that, it switches to the double fan model. Up next is the FCQ round flow sensing cassette. This is a larger kind of 3x3 sensing cassette. It's got a condensate pump as a standard feature. It does have outside air integration, and there's a filter on there. What makes it sensing is that it has these nice little sensors up in the corner. You can probably see that in a couple of the images. What those are doing is being able to detect occupancy in the room, and if there's people kind of standing directly under it, those louvers are going to automatically adjust so that the airflow doesn't blow directly on them. So if you're picturing sitting in your office right now and there's one of these above you, if you're sitting on one side of your office, that louver or that unit can tell that you're there, and that louver is going to adjust to divert the air kind of away from you so it's not right on top of you. And then if you very quickly in your rolly office chair go to the other side of your office, the unit will be able to tell that as well and then adjust those louvers accordingly. So it's pretty fun technology just built right in. It's also accounting for being able to tell the difference in temperature down at the floor, so it can kind of pick up on that floor temperature instead of up there in the ceiling where it is, and knowing that that's not where all the people hang out. So it's got some great features from kind of that comfort standpoint to be able to detect different things. It's full 360-degree discharge air pattern. There's several preset airflow patterns that you can choose from, and there's also a neat optional self-cleaning filter panel. What this is a panel that includes a little kind of vacuum style brush that'll go around on the panel, pick up all of those dusts and allergens and stuff that cling to the panel and kind of self-clean it for you. It's really easy to tell what the system is doing just by looking at it. So under normal operation, there's going to be a little green LED light on in the corner. When that self-cleaning filter is doing its job, it's going to blink green, so you can look at it, and if you happen to catch it when it's doing that feature, then it'll blink green at you. That dust, when it's all collected, it's going to go down into a nice little collection bin in the unit. And eventually that bin's going to get full. Depending on the environment, it might take a while to fill up, or it could happen much more regularly. And when it's time to empty, that red light is going to turn to a red blinking light. So then you know, oh, my box is full, I better empty that out. And then to do so, all you have to do is stick your vacuum hose up into the panel, suck the dirt and dust and other grimy stuff right out of there, and then you are good to go again. So you don't have to pull out ladders, climb up there, pull down panels, only to find out that maybe the filter doesn't need as much cleaning as you thought. So it's very easy from a maintenance standpoint. So this is an optional decoration panel to choose from. Here's a look at the performance of the FCQ. So we are going up from 1.5 tons all the way to 4. Here we've got SEER ratings ranging from 17 to 18.6. My HSPF is anywhere from 8.6 to 10.2. And then same performance, as I mentioned before, you'll see consistencies in the line sets and length, and the operating range in cooling and heating across the board is the same for all of the systems. So we'll leave that here for a second. Looking now at accessories, so the decoration panel does need to be ordered in addition to the unit itself. So that standard panel part number you'll see listed here, and then the optional self-cleaning panel. But just remember, you've got to choose one or the other when you're ordering the SCQ unit itself. There are some other available accessories, long life filters, replacement filters, fresh air intake kit, and note that not all of those accessories are compatible with the self-cleaning panel. And this is taken right from the engineering manual if you need to get to it again. Up next is the FTQ multi-positional air handler unit. This is capable of upflow, downflow, horizontal left, and horizontal right installation configurations, and it's available in heat pump or cooling only. So both of those things are upgrades over the last FTQ model. It includes a factory installed disconnect switch. You'll see that in the nomenclature as having a D on the end of the model. There's also an available model without that disconnect switch that you can order. However, it's not going to be our standard stocked part. So it is a build to order model and a quantity of 24 as a minimum. There's a high efficiency ECM motor, all aluminum coil, optional electric heat capabilities, simplified PCB design, and a compact frame design. So thinking about that frame a little bit more, the new FTQ is smaller and it weighs less. So it's much easier to integrate into your mechanical closet, fit up into attic openings because of its improvements on size. It's designed for zero clearance on 3 sides and only 24 inches needed on the front for service. So you can really get it into a tight little space, little closet. It doesn't need as much room around it on all the sides. The table here shows the dimensions compared to the previous FTQ. So the new one, we're gaining anywhere from 3 to about 13 inches in height. We've gotten shorter. It's only 21 inches deep and 17.5 inches wide, so much smaller, narrower compared to the old one. And you'll see that 50-pound difference in weight as well across the board. My picture over there on the right is comparing that change in size, and it's pretty much to scale. So the old FTQ is in the background, the new one in the foreground for the same capacities. So it's noticeably smaller, which is a really nice enhancement for this FTQ. Here's taking a look at performance. Again, this one is also offered 1.5 to 4 tons. SEER ratings are going from 14.8 to 16, HSPF ranging from 8.6 to 10.4, and again, all the other performance is the same, like on all the other indoor models. Does have electric heat capability. Here's kind of a table showing electric heater capacities available. It does go up to 19 kilowatts on those larger sizes. If the FTQ is installed in the downflow position, it does require a downflow kit. There are 2 part numbers there, and it's just based on which size you're installing, so do remember that. As I mentioned in the model name, the FTQ with the D at the end, that's our standard stock part, and that includes the installed disconnect switch. And then that A model is the build to order part without the disconnect. FBQ is the ducted concealed option, and it now goes up to 4 tons instead of stopping at 3.5. There is one small revision we've made to the FBQ 18. What we've done is we've revised that particular model to have the same piping connections as the outdoor unit. So it now has a 3/8 inch liquid line and a 5/8 inch gas line, eliminating the need for reducers like it previously had to. Now, we didn't change the model number to just kind of keep things relatively simple. So in order to know if your particular unit has the new pipe sizes, those can be identified by serial number. So units with a serial number of E005373 and beyond have these new sizes of pipe connections. And then ultimately those older models with the differing connections will phase out, and you won't have to kind of pay attention to the serial number anymore. So performance is also listed in the table. We've got SEER ranging from 14 to 17.5, HSPF ranging from 8.4 to 9.7. Again, all the same performance below that as other systems. I also like to remind everyone that the SBQ is compatible with the Daikin zoning kit. That's the DZK product. What this system does is allow for several separate ducts to supply air to individually controlled zones. With the SBQ on the larger capacities, you can get up to 6 zones. You can do down to 4 on all sizes. So it just gives a nice way to introduce some additional zoning capabilities with these single zone SkyAir systems. The DZKs comes with either wired or wireless controllers. They're really nice to choose from, and they work with that system, and it's been developed with the SBQ to be able to function very well with that particular unit. So just a nice reminder that we do have a zoning kit available with the SBQ. Here's a look at the ceiling suspended. This is the FHQ. As I mentioned, there is no change to this model. It's the same as before. It's just compatible with the new outdoor units. So taking a look at performance here, we've got SEER ratings from 14 to 16.6, HSPF from 8.2 to 9.3. Moving on now to the outdoor units. So we've got the new RZR and RZQ, heat pump and cooling only, ranging from 1.5 to 4 tons. What's notable about these new models is the high heating capacity with the RZQ heat pump. So on systems up to 3 tons, we're able to get 100% of heating capacity down to -4 degrees Fahrenheit, -20 degrees Celsius, which is really powerful performance. And then even on those 4-ton systems, we're still getting 75% heating capacity when it's down to -4 Fahrenheit. These new units also have a newly designed drain pan. There's a lot more holes in that drain pan, which is going to help prevent condensate from building up in there and then freezing and starting to cause damage to the outdoor coils and fans. So it's been redesigned to kind of just help ensure that we're getting rid of that condensate appropriately. These systems also include variable refrigerant temperature technology. Now, for those of you who are familiar with our VRV products, this might sound familiar to you, and we're really excited to be able to have that with our SkyAir single zone systems. What variable refrigerant temperature technology does is it allows the systems to dynamically change refrigerant temperatures, and this is designed to save energy and enhance the overall occupancy comfort. What it's doing is improving part load efficiency by delivering a more appropriate part load capacity. There's a lot more to VRT. You can find some additional details in the literature, and then there's also various settings that you can choose from. You can turn off VRT completely, or you can kind of maximize it just based on what you want to do with the system in different modes, and that's all outlined in the installation manual for the RZR and RZQ units. Here's a look at the specifications. You can see dimensions here. As I mentioned, the 1.5 and 2 ton models are a single fan unit, and then from the 2.5 and up, we do switch to a double fan. The accessories for the outdoor units, there is an optional air adjustment grill, depending on if you're the single fan model or double fan model. It's a different part number. We are presently evaluating the extended operating range in cooling with the use of this air adjustment grill. Because that testing has not been completed yet, we do not have those details for you at this time. But as soon as we get that done here in the coming weeks, we will certainly add that information into all of our documents and get it up in submittals and things like that. But for now, we do not know those capabilities, so we're unable to provide that extended operating range in cooling mode. We also are currently developing a drain pan heater for these models. So we do not have that available now, but it is in the final stages of development and will be coming out here in the coming months. Moving on now to controls. There are a variety of controls to choose from. These also must be ordered in addition to the indoor unit. So it does not ship with a controller. If you order just a SCQ, for example, there's not going to be anything in the box to control it. So you've got to remember to include some kind of controller with it. So all of the indoor units are able to use either the simplified or the BRC 1E73 nav controller. That's a wired controller capability. And then there are a series of wireless handheld controllers available for most of the indoor units, not all of them. Now, the reason for the different part numbers is just because the indoor units do have some different functionality and things that don't carry through on all of the models. So ultimately, the image in the bottom left, that's what the wireless controller looks like. Some of the things on the LED screen may or may not be there, just depending on which model it is based on which indoor unit you're using it with. SkyAir is also compatible with the soon-to-be-released Daikin Cloud Wi-Fi system. What this is a subcontroller that allows for Wi-Fi connectivity, so you can operate the systems on your phone or tablet, whether you're in the same place as the unit or somewhere else. What's different about this one compared to the Wi-Fi adapter for other single and multi-zone systems is that you do have to use the BRC1E73 nav controller. So that has to be installed, and then you can use this DKN Cloud Wi-Fi adapter along with it. It is compatible on all of these systems. It's backwards compatible with previous SkyAir systems. So if you've got one somewhere and somebody would be interested in the Wi-Fi capabilities, it will work with that as well. We do also have central controllers, KRP boards for auxiliary heat control, things like that are available for these new SkyAirs as well, because there's so many different ones depending on the model number. I'm just going to direct you to the engineering manual for additional details for those, but those are available as well. Taking a look now at the warranty, SkyAir comes with a 10-year warranty, whether it's commercial or residential installations, and it does not require registration. So a great, strong warranty with these systems is available no matter where you're installing it. So essentially right out of the box, that's what you get. Taking a look now at compatibility, I've got a nice little table here to outline the compatibility of the new models with the old models and old models with the new models. So of the existing indoor units, only the FBQ and FHQ indoor units are compatible with the new outdoor models. None of the new indoor units are compatible with the old PVJU 7 or 8 outdoor units. And then also none of the new outdoor units are compatible with some of those older indoor units which we're phasing out. So for example, the existing FCQ PAVJU is not compatible with the new outdoor units which have the TAVJU on the end. I'll leave that up here for just a second so everyone can kind of understand what will work with the old systems and what won't in terms of what's being introduced as part of this launch. All right, moving now to key dates. So first off, we'll start with sales availability. We do have stock available of the RZR, RZQ, so the outdoor units, the FCQ ceiling cassette, and the FTQ air handler. That is available now. The FAQ is a little bit behind. It's going to be available by the end of the month. And then beyond that, the 4-ton FBQ is going to be available in early February. So it's a bit of a staggered launch in terms of when product is going to be available and on the shelf, but certainly everything is available to be ordered now. In terms of technical details, we do have engineering data book and capacity table booklet are available. We have split these up to where before the capacity details were included within the engineering manual, but for a lot of times people are just needing capacity information, so we've broken that out into its own separate document, but those are both available. Submittals are up on Daikin City. However, we have been having some glitches lately with getting the data to come through correctly from the system on the backside that supports all of that. So you will find submittals up there, but you'll notice there's some parts missing. So we are working through those as quickly as possible to get them up and running on Daikin City, excuse me, and then we'll transfer those over to Daikin AC. Guide specs will be out by the end of the month. We do have all of our installation and operation manuals, and we should also have the service manual by the end of January as well. In terms of marketing documents, we do have consumer brochures available. There are several to choose from. Ultimately, we have a brochure that kind of talks about SkyAir as a whole, so it looks at all of the indoor units to choose from, the capabilities of the system, and then we have separate brochures for each indoor unit to pick from as well. So the first one listed there, the CB-SKY-HPAC, is the brochure that kind of covers everything all in one, and then the other brochures are based on the indoor unit. The catalog, our single and multi-zone reference guide, the counter reference guides, those are all going to be updated by the end of March. We have several other launches coming up in this family of products, so we're just going to wait to do everything at once. And this launch presentation will be available after the conclusion of this webinar on Daikin City. And then for websites, as I mentioned, these systems are in Daikin City. They're showing up. You can get to the engineering manual. There are still some additional details to add in there, but these are showing on Daikin City. We have parts of Daikin AC updated, just a few little other components to do there, but those will be finished up by the end of the month as well. So that concludes the presentation portion of the webinar. So I'm going to go ahead and turn things back to Catherine, and she'll start taking questions.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Connie. So just a couple quick reminders. If you have questions, use your chat box. We'll be happy to answer. I did want to mention you will receive a follow-up email a little bit later today with a link to the webinar recording. So if you'd like to refer back to it or share it with someone who might be interested, you will have that in your email. If you attended live, it's the thank you for attending. If you didn't attend but you registered, it's the we're sorry we missed you. In either case, in the body of that message will be the link to the recording. And I did also want to mention that there is a post-webinar survey. Feel free to provide some feedback. We do always look forward to hearing from you and find out your thoughts on things. A few questions here. In regards to the self-clean filter, when you say optional, does that mean optional to install or optional to use?
Optional to use. You do have to choose between either the standard panel or this self-cleaning panel, but the standard panel tends to be what we are going to see more of the use with. So that's then why we kind of say, hey, there's this extra one available if you want to stock a few of those on the shelf. But it really is almost an either or situation. You've got to choose one of those panels to install with the unit.
Okay. Is the FBQ the equivalent of the VRV FXMQ or FXSQ?
It is the equivalent of the FXSQ.
Okay, great. And then will SkyAir be compatible with the upcoming Daikin 1 Plus? And if not, do you know when that might happen?
Great question. I was meaning to mention that with controllers, so I'm glad someone brought it up. So the new Daikin 1 Plus thermostat was recently launched. Right now, it is not compatible with SkyAir. However, later this fall, they'll be rolling out an update that will provide that compatibility with these systems. So right now, it's not, but it will be in the future. So if you are ordering that controller to use on our some of our other unitary systems, you'll have it ready, and then as soon as that update goes through, it will receive that update wirelessly whenever that thermostat's installed and commissioned. Hang out just a few more months and you'll have it for SkyAir.
Okay, perfect. Can you go into more detail about the difference between the two wired controllers?
Yes, let me go back to that slide just so we have a nice visual. So the nav controller is the image up there in the top left. This is a true thermostat. It's got a lot of great features with it, and it can also sense room temperature. Whereas the simplified controller is really just a basic controller to switch out mode, change your temperature a little bit, and just do some of the basic functionality. But the nav controller does have a lot more features available and ways to control the system. And we do see that one being used much more widely than the simplified controller.
Okay, great. This question, Jacob, we might need some more information. I'm not quite sure I'm understanding it as it's written, but here's the question as it came in. I see that those RZQR models ends in TAVJU. What is this upgraded from the PRJU? Does that make any sense to you?
Possibly. I think he's referring to the old PVJU outdoor units.
Possibly. And it's about the RZQR models ending in TAVJU. Jacob, if you can give us some more information, or perhaps we'll get with you offline on your question. Is there a printed price schedule available for the ductless units?
Sorry, what was that? One more time?
Is there a printed price schedule for the ductless units?
So we do have the pricing is out there when we send out the PMN for these, and you can find those list prices in Daikin City as well. We do have kind of the separate single and multi-zone price book. That's kind of more a supplemental document. That's going to be updated probably towards the end of February, again, once we get some of these other products launched, and I'll do everything all at one time.
All right, perfect. Will the Amura indoor units be brought over to the SkyAir offering in the future?
There's a lot of discussions about having that capability. It does take a little bit of development work to make the Amuras compatible with these two-wire type systems. So we are discussing it. We do see that there could be a benefit to joining those two together. But for right now, there isn't a real definitive timeline, but we won't rule it out as something that might come out in the future.
Okay, great. When will the Wi-Fi controllers be available? Do you happen to know?
Yes, so those, there should be some announcements coming out on those soon. I believe it is that you can start ordering them in February and they're going to ship in March. But I can double check that with the controls team that's heading up that project just to make sure and get back with them.
Perfect. In the cooling mode, the low operating end temperature appears to be 23. Is there a jumper or a dip switch setting required to engage?
So I don't have the answer to that yet. We are doing that testing right now to check on extended cooling operation. It wouldn't be through a jumper. It would, if we're able to do it and get some extended cooling operating range, it would be by using that air adjustment grill. But we don't have that testing quite finished up yet, and we'll let everyone know once we have those answers here in the next few weeks.
Okay. Will these units be available with low ambient control to 0 degrees for computer room application?
Great question. So these units, I guess we'll see if they can get down to 0 with that air adjustment grill. But we do have a couple of systems that they used to be called SkyAir, but we actually kind of since pulled them out of the family because they are that typical 4-wire system. We have a 2.5 and 3 ton wall mount system. One product is the NV series, and it can do low ambient cooling down to -22 with a jumper and air adjustment grill. And then we have another system, the LV 3036, and it can do low ambient cooling down to -40 with an extra kit. So we do have those products out there for those process cooling applications. They don't really fall under SkyAir. But if we just need to get down to 0 degrees, it could be possible with these SkyAir systems. We'll just have to wait and see how that testing goes once it's completed.
Okay, great. And then do you happen to know if the Wi-Fi controllers that we've been talking about would be good for VRV as well?
Yes, that new one that comes out, I'll sneak back here, that BK and Cloud Wi-Fi, it will be compatible on the VRV systems also.
All right, perfect. So I think those are the questions that we have at this time. Again, I'll forward everything over to Connie. If anybody's still typing, keep typing. I'll just do a few seconds of filler here. We want to make sure your questions are answered. If you think of anything after you leave the webinar, you can always reach out to me at daikinwebinars@daikincomfort.com, and I can always forward on your question. You can always put them in your post-webinar survey as well. But for now, it does look like those are the questions that we've received, so thank you for sending those in. Connie, I wondered if there's anything you'd like to say in closing today.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to thank everyone for dialing in this afternoon and hearing about these new SkyAir systems. We really are excited to have them out there and available. We think they bring some great features to kind of bring that system up to some new levels and provide some great solutions, not only for light commercial applications, but also residential as well. So thank you everyone for your time, and as Catherine already mentioned, if you think of questions later, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. We're happy to answer any questions you may have. So thanks for your time, everyone.
Great. Well, thank you so much for bringing us the presentation, Connie. Everybody hopefully learned a lot from this. And for everyone who took time out of your busy schedule, whether you're here live now or later on the recording, we do appreciate your time. And as always, look forward to talking to you on another webinar soon. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Bye-bye.